My name is Ken Kerry. I'm a direct-to-consumer expert for the last 35 years, working for big companies, small companies, brands, and some of the biggest brands in the world. And I'm co-founder of a company called Script to Screen, one of the largest direct-to-consumer privately held agencies in the country. And welcome to our webinar series. And I am absolutely thrilled to have Bill Raymond, who's EVP, managing partner of Cannella Television. And we're in his we're doing this via Zoom in his beautiful offices in Santa Monica. Bill, thank you very much for making the time for us today. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you, Ken. It's great to be here.
So Bill, I want to talk a little bit about for our audience. So our audience are companies that are considering direct to consumer or are savvy direct to consumer marketers that may be digital only brands, that may be television brands, getting into retail, scaling their businesses. What are the unique ways that Cannella is using with its clients to maximize its media dollars?
At Cannella, we think of media, there's no bad media. It's just if the rate's not right. So first of all, it's all rate driven. Mm-hmm. Second of all, we've been doing this for 35 years. We have a database of $5 billion. So we know exactly what media is working, what media is not. On top of that, I still actually buy some media myself. And the reason why I do is I think it gives me that pulse on that marketplace.
Right.
Rob Medved, our CEO, does as well. He's still intimately involved in a few deals. And it helps us gauge the marketplace and understand exactly what's going on, not just hearing it from our staff. I think what really sets us apart is we have a long form PI platform that reaches 110 million households. And so if you're a digital agency and you are used to like a CPA model, it's exact same thing. While it is long form, there is a lot of crossover between different products. And again, on there, you're only paying per item sold or per lead. There's no risk.
How does a client determine whether that platform is correct from there? Because it all comes down to what can be paid out. So everyone's got to make money, right? So how do you determine whether that's the right model for them?
Yeah. So in most cases, if you're talking about a digital marketer that's moving to TV, they know exactly what their payouts are. And then we'll test it on TV, either in long form or short form. And we will see if that response is there. Usually they can pay a little bit higher on TV because there's going to be a halo effect where it's going to help all of their different channels, not just that TV that we're going after at that time.
So give me an example. So let's say there's a product that sells for $49, right? Mm-hmm. The cost of goods to the marketer is let's just say $12 or $15. Is that how you start with what is payable, what could be paid out? And because when you get to your cost of goods, obviously you want to have at least 15 to 20% profit built into for yourself.
Correct. Again, it's really dependent on what the marketer's goals are, because they may be using it to also drive retail, or there may be a continuity play involved where they are not going to be, as positive ROI as they would want to be on that first turn or on the media itself.
Right.
But they understand within their model, because they usually tested this on digital, they know exactly what they can pay and what they can't pay. And when I talk about the long form platform, again, it's based off of a CPA model. So whoever the client is, you're competing against all the other clients. Mm-hmm. So if you're generating revenue for us, then we're going to give you more. If you're going to do less, then you're going to get less media. Now, with that, if you're a in-house client for Cannella, we do give you the nod over someone that we're just doing PI for.
You talk about over 110 million households, right? So when I'm on that platform, where does it sit? It's not like I can just go into my cable and find it, or does it work like that? Tell me
Yeah,
how
so
do I understand how that works?
it's 110 million households, plus it's like around 35,000 half hours a week that we're titling. So it's very vast.
Right?
It's on multiple MSOs out, you name it, we're on it. Plus also,
What's an MSO?
an example would be like DirecTV, Comcast, Dish Network. Plus, the beauty about it as well is, when you think of regular paid programming, for the most part, it's going to be earlier in the morning or late night. This is 24/7. So you can hit eyeballs that you would not hit anywhere else. And it really helps drive revenue across the board for our clients in retail and on Amazon, and just for them, because you're hitting a different eyeball at that point.
So you use it as, do some clients use it as the form of advertising that they do? Oh, and do some use it as an adjunct to paid?
The majority of our clients use both. So we're doing paid and PI. And, some clients their spends are, in some cases, it may be the PI may be 50% of their total budget. So it can be very, very significant. And the good thing about it is again, you're reaching a different eyeballs that you would in paid. So the paid and the CPA PI complement each other.
Okay.
And it keeps results very stable, because again, that PI is risk-free. It's working at the goal or the payout that we agree on.
Now, I've heard you say that you may just put the same commercial back to back to back to back on a network. Is that correct? And it's kind of an attrition thing at that point. You're going to see it sooner or later. Is that how?
Yeah, in some cases, it just really depends.
Yeah.
For the most part, we are rotating our clients evenly throughout the day to make it so it's a more a more kindly facing viewer for the consumer.
So it's really something unique to Cannella, where if you have a product or a service and you want to get on television through performance media, meaning you're going to pay something, but you're going to get a return right away, whatever that KPI is based on the business. It is a great way to kind of crawl, walk, run, if you will, into a bigger media spend.
For sure, it allows marketers to continue to increase their spend on the paid side without the risk and without the results. Because as we all know, unfortunately, in this business, we don't have a crystal ball and results do fluctuate. Yeah. But this allows us to keep results very stable.
Awesome. I want to go into something that we get as an agency all the time, Bill, and I want to get your perspective on this, is because, a lot of times when we meet with clients, the first question is media. Talk about, from your perspective of spending hundreds of millions of dollars annually in media, help clients, people who are watching, help them understand that if you don't have the right creative, the media doesn't make a difference, right? And if you don't have the right media with great it doesn't work. Talk about, you have to have that message in order to drive a sale or an action, so you can scale that media. So they really should be looked at hand in hand. Is that correct?
Very much so. You when you look at the marketplace today, we think about whatever link we're doing, it's video, wherever it's at on whatever platform. The consumer's behaviors have changed, but at the end of the day, it's still the same of what Frank Cannella did 35 years ago when he was one of the first people to launch an infomercial for a hair product called New Generation. Mm-hmm. It's problem solution. It's identify the problem, have a solution. So those are the two main things. And you need to make sure that when you are speaking to a new client, and when we're bringing a new client on, that we put the work in and understand their business and their business model and help them get the best creative possible. We don't do creative internally. We have a creative team that helps clients get creatives completed, and we work with partners like yourself. So thank you very much for that.
Mm-hmm.
And we walk them through it. Creative is so important because you can have the best product, but if the creative isn't right, it's not going to work. And vice versa. You can have, the worst product, but if the creative is great, it does work. And we've seen, I'm not going to say who it is, but we've all seen that.
Yeah.
That just shows you how powerful what you do
Mm-hmm.
and what we do really sets it apart. I also think that sometimes marketers are too close to it.
Yes.
And you need to tell them sometimes things they don't want to hear.
I'm glad to hear you say that because the how we are successful with a company like Cannella is that we've thought through, what's the real problem, what's the white space that is we're going to go after with a creative, and how we're going to turn that prospect into a customer. And if we can do that successfully, whether it's in 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 28, 33 minutes, 5 minutes, doesn't really matter. That allows you as a media company to use so many more tools, right? Media wise, to grow and scale that business.
For sure. And,
Yeah.
when we look at today, especially in this omni-channel to really get a product out there, you need to be omni-channel marketer at this point. Clients have to continue to be shooting throughout the year, even if it's a testimonial or a new offer or a new product shot, because the more they shoot, the more we can test. And the beauty about it today is you can test out digitally for so much less and see if it works or not. And if it works, then we can bring those practices to TV.
Bill, one of the things that we do now that we've never done before as an agency is that when we bring in with a new client, we go really, really deep. And instead of just taking their word for, well, this is what our product's problem solves, and this is how we've sold it. We say, that's great. That's a great place to start. Because there's so much data out there, we go deeper and go, well, let's find out what the consumer's saying. Let's find out what their pain points are. Let's find out what your competitors' pain points are. And how could you turn a positive into what you're doing that's addressing a negative of somebody else? So that gets deeper into that problem solution of maybe it's bigger and wider than you think it is, but you never know until you open up the hood and start going down that rabbit hole.
For sure. When we bring on a client, we go through the whole order process ourselves. We have a whole team that's diving into the script, the offer, the flow, how it's delivered, all those little things, because the more that we can learn about where they currently are as a company, the better we can help create content or just help make them a better marketer from all of our years of doing this.
I want to just pause here for a second and just people think about what Bill just said. As an agency, they're actually partnering with you. They're going under the hood. They're doing whatever they can from their years of experience to find, where's the breakage? Where are the things could be better in the ordering process? It's not just buying media. It is doing everything to make sure the media that they do spend is going to be as effective and profitable as possible. That is such a huge, unique selling proposition, Bill, and I applaud you for that, because that is rare in our business.
Yeah, and I think as we continue to to grow and the industry continue to change, that's the only way it works. I mean, if clients aren't being transparent to us, it's hard for us to help people. And
Right.
I think back in the day, it was different. It was because it was so much easier. Well, now it's not. And you really do have to be very transparent.
How do you address a digital only brand that is trying to get out there outside of digital into television? How do you talk to them, Bill, when they're so used to the world of Meta and Alphabet and all that, digital data information, and they're trying to get into television, and they hear all these stories about, well, I got to get the television to really scale my business. How do you move them from their digital world into television that can help them understand the possibilities?
Yeah, well, first is you need to address the one thought that they have is that TV's dead.
No one watches TV, Bill. No one, right?
Yeah, TV is not dead. Like we drive a lot of revenue on a weekly basis for people off of television. So linear TV is not dead. It's actually the most consumed media still today, and it still moves the dial more than anything else out there. With that, TV needs to be a piece of the puzzle, and it needs to be a part of the entire omni-channel marketing plan.
What's the ideal client for you, Bill? What do you want them to come to the table with so you can really, get a win as soon as possible and help build their business and build a relationship?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing is transparency and trust. Like we want to work with folks that trust us and want to share data so that we can help them make the best decisions going forward. Also, clients have to know what they want, right? Like they need to come in with a plan, understand what their goals are, what they can pay to acquire a customer.
Okay.
If they know that coming into it, then we can look at it and say, okay, based off of your offer, based off of your category, we think we can either make a long form work, a short form, a mid form, whatever it may be, digital. And at that point, if we agree on it and they know their number, then it's a lot easier for us to recommend, yes, go forward with this. Tons of people come to us that it doesn't make sense. And we say, no, there's no reason wasting their time nor our time. But the ones that come that understand their business, understand where they want to be, those are the ones that we can really help right off the bat.
And I just want to reiterate that, we work with a lot of agencies, and we've worked many, many years with Cannella, is that for people who are listening, that, Cannella may not be your cup of tea because they want you to be honest. They want you to get behind the curtain, and the more they know, the more they can help you. And if you're not in that position, that's okay. But having a client, having a media agency who's going to say that right off the bat and say, listen, the only way I can help you is you let me behind the curtain and trust me. And when we can do that, we can really, really scale. I can tell you that not every agency is like that, Bill. So kudos to you guys for that.
Awesome.
Yeah. Last question I have for you, and again, thank you very much for taking the time today, is that what excites you? What excites you in media in 2022 and beyond? What is that North Star, if you will, of what you guys are doing as a business that excites you?
Yeah, so my roots are in long form, and that's what our roots are in. But we've grown to be this full service agency where we have long form, mid form, short form, digital, Amazon. And again, it's when I look at what's going on inside the world today, it all comes back to content, video content. And as long as we are working with strong partners and clients that understand that, we can help leverage all of the different platforms through data and scale these different types of products. As an agency, we are now bringing on, we just brought on a new head of data and analytics. We continue to build that out. We understand that's where this business is. But again, what excites me the most is we know problem solution. So if we can get clients that understand that and we keep embedding that and come up with creative, whatever length it is, video creatives, we will win. And it's fun because it continues to change. I mean, like I would say 10 years ago, the world was changing. 5 years ago, the world was changing. I wasn't excited as I am now. Now I feel like we understand what works in this business and what doesn't. And I'm excited to help marketers, really excel inside this marketplace.
Yeah. And we say, what's different for us, Bill, is that, being able to create campaigns and those messages used to be like in a certain time format, but now it's not only a certain time format, it is content that is contextual to the platform. It's not just taking a 60-second, cutting it down to a 30, cutting it down to a 15 and putting it on Instagram or YouTube. No, you have to take that content and make it contextual to YouTube, because that consumer on YouTube is on YouTube for a totally different reason than they're on LinkedIn, than they're on Instagram, than they're on TikTok. So you have to be the mindset of them, because on YouTube, they may be thinking how to or best way, right? And on TikTok, you're just you're kind of being entertained. Those are two totally different messages, but could be selling the same thing.
Very, very much so. And I think when you look at like Facebook right now and Instagram, because of the iOS changes that have happened with Apple, where I like to think of it, before these changes, marketers were able to fish in a pond for just what they wanted. And it was easier for them to do it. So they would have more direct creatives going towards that demo. Well, now, even on Facebook, it's more of you're going after kind of like what we do on TV, going after a larger demo, a larger pool of fish. And it's the same thing now, where I think that's why you're going to see more direct to consumer marketers that are currently just on digital now moving and transitioning to TV, part of it as well, because first of all, they have to, because to acquire customers on Facebook has increased so much that if they can do the same on TV and then there's a halo effect, it's a win-win.
Yeah. Hey, thanks again for the time. I really appreciate your insights on what and how Cannella separates itself from the other businesses. And I'm excited about the things that we're going to be doing together in the future. And I'm excited that when people see this vlog and this podcast, that they're going to be able to see what Cannella has to offer and look at them as a real partner that can help them. So if someone's watching this and they're interested in how Cannella can help them, how would they get a hold of Cannella? Would they get a hold of you? How do people find out and take the next step when it comes to Cannella?
Yeah, you can go to our website, cannellamedia.com, or you can look Bill Raymond up on LinkedIn and send me a note. And you can also reach me at braymond@cannellamedia.com.
Awesome. And if you hit him up on LinkedIn, he will hit you up. He'll get you back.
I will.